Hello, today I'm going to give you a walkthrough on StratSim Marketing, which is the car simulation. I'm going to show you here quickly our results. We were firm B. Cumulative net income, we ended up with 48 billion, which was really good. First place. Basically, we got first place on almost every metric here that you can look at, even the stock price all the way to $258. If we compare it to the other class, we also did fairly well against them. So let's move on with the simulation itself. And here we have the dashboard for period 10, where we can see how we did compared to the other firms, the other teams. We can take a look at the stock price and see how well we did over the periods. Debt, we actually eliminated debt in period 8 completely down to 0. Unit sales did fairly well, started with about 400 units, ended up selling over 1,000 in period 10. Cash, yeah, we were also number 1 with 36 billion. Gross margin 38.6 in period 10. Okay, I'm gonna go over the basics and the most important parts you can do in order to be successful in this game. I'm definitely not gonna go over everything, there's just way too much, but I'm gonna give you some pointers. So under results and decisions, there is 4 important tabs that you need to look into. The first one is product development, the second one is marketing, the third one is manufacturing, and the fourth one is special decision. Under decision analysis, there's really nothing. Under market, microsegments. You want to look at microsegments. Under competition, there is really nothing there. Under tools, you want to take a look at focus groups, concept test, and test market. Okay, so the number one thing to consider is to position your vehicles where the consumer wants, based on the data. We're not going to be necessarily looking at what everybody else is doing. This, for us, allowed us to gain a huge advantage on everybody else. So under results and decisions, the first thing you want to look at is product development. And here in every period, what you want to do is construct a new center. So this is where you start in period 0. You want to begin construction. You also want to start positioning your vehicles as close to the positioning map as possible. And we'll go over the positioning map in a minute, but right from the very beginning you want to start making changes. Here we also launched a vehicle, or began launching a vehicle. It takes 2 or 3 periods before it actually launches, so you want to get started right away. The sooner the better, because you'll have a big advantage if you are the first to market. So definitely consider that. Number 2, marketing. Very important. Corporate marketing, social media, direct marketing, all these, on every single period you want to make sure that you increase these numbers. Do it incrementally, do 1 or 2 million every period. Down here we have the MSRP, very important. You also want to take a look at increasing the prices. Every single period, the base cost of the vehicles go up. So at the very least, you need to consider the cost of inflation. So take a look at that. Advertising, you probably want to move this up and have all of them at 80. Advertising, remember this is the game. Marketing, advertising, promotion in millions. Same here. Move it up to 40 on all of them and keep increasing incrementally. What is there on here? Nothing so important. Number 3, we go to manufacturing. Here is where you're going to decide how many units will go into production. And we'll take a look at period 10. So say the previous period you sold 356 units and you want to keep this at 0 inventory, which is ideal for the first periods, then you want to have 354 plus 2 equals 356. Now let's go back to the first period and I'll explain it further. 0 period. Also very important is this analysis here. It will tell you how you are doing with sales. Like in this case, period 1. Period 1, we had a comment about shortage, 10 to 30%. This period we sold 99 vehicles. So what we ended up doing is increased our production for the next period to 132. We ended up selling 129 with only 3 vehicles in inventory. So the less inventory the better, especially when you want to do an upgrade, whether it's a minor upgrade, major upgrade, or a cost reduction. The less vehicles you have, the less vehicles will be written off. See this little star here? Vehicle platform is changing. Inventory will be written off. So that's very important. Take a look at your comments here. Vehicles being upgraded. This inventory will be written off. Be sure to produce enough to match forecast. Okay. So that's manufacturing. You go to special decisions. Be on the lookout for all this information under special decisions. It is very important. We won't go into details about this, but take a look once you get there. Under market, micro segments. Very, very important. This information, each one of these tests is going to cost you about $25,000. So you want to look at where, let's look at the Buzzy in the 3S microsegment. You want to take a look at where your vehicle is compared to where it's supposed to be, where the consumer wants it to be. The consumer wants it to be here inside this box, preferably in the center. Our vehicle started off way outside the box, which is the Buzzy, the sports car. And its perfect scenario is in here. So what we ended up doing is upgrading the vehicle, bringing it down to the max allowed, dropped it down to 44 for the next period from a size 54. We notice, if you notice, the unit share is at 38.2. It's higher than all the other ones, but it's not as high. Once we made the minor adjustments, minor upgrades, it jumped all the way to 56.8% on the unit shares. We brought it inside the box. For period 5, we kept moving it closer to the center, 42, and then again it jumped to 65.7 unit shares, which means that we were selling more vehicles. And we were also able to increase the price. That's another thing to look into. The price sensitivity, at least for our firm and our vehicles, was low. So every time we increased the price sensitivity was low. It was not affecting our sales as much. So you have the car size, you have the price, and you have other information here. This advertising theme is also very important. Here it tells you that the hot buttons is performance first and then styling. So that's what you want to take a look at here, and make sure that the theme is under performance. If you go back to marketing, if you need to change it, then you change it here. This period is already closed, so it won't allow you to change, but if you need to change it, you can definitely change it. Back to microsegments. And that's basically it here, besides other information then you can take a look at. For period 10, we had a new challenger actually. They launched a new vehicle, but they only received 10% of unit shares. And you can take a look at where this vehicle is, way outside the box. So, no competition. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Under tools, focus groups. Focus groups is basically very similar to the previous pages we were looking at. It tells you the unit share, but it also tells you whether the size is good or not, how your price is. But even though the price was the worst, it was still selling vehicles because of the price sensitivity. Horsepower, best, and everything else is best. This will give you some great information if you need to make any changes. Concept test. Concept test is going to help the most at the very beginning when you're about to launch a new vehicle. So, and I'll give you a good example here. You need to have a project in this area. For that, you go to product development, and we're going to choose a utility vehicle. Why a utility vehicle? If you come to this microsegments area, for a perfect example, there is research has identified potential new consumer microsegments, and it clearly states these three vehicles. For this example, we're going to choose the high income for you utility vehicle and consider this information in order to launch the vehicle. So we go to product development, new concept, we choose the utility, the size, let's pick about 78, horsepower, let's choose 260, interior 5555, that's a good number. Then we go back to concept test, we choose the for you, and the price will keep 45,000, run the test, 100,000, and we get the results here. This will tell you if you need to make any changes in order to have the biggest percentage here on likely to buy. So you can keep running this test until you have a great number here, and it'll say good. Like I said, don't worry, don't be so much concerned about the price. Average is okay. Now, moving on to the next one, test market. The best thing to use test market for is the price. The price that you want to sell the vehicle as, the MSRP. So, for example, on the AEV, the battery, its MSRP is 40,000. So if you want to consider lowering or even getting the vehicle more expensive, then you can run that test and it'll tell you whether you make or lose money. So at 39, reducing the price was gonna lose money. Increasing the price from 40 to 42 was also gonna lose money. So the best thing to do is to keep it at 41,000. Another example is the Butte. If we take a look at the Butte, it was selling at 61,000. Then if we want to increase it, we can put 63,000. Take a look at the results. The difference is minor. We input 62,000 and the difference is slightly better with 128 million. So you actually have the opportunity of increasing the price for the next period, as an example. So in summary, the biggest impact on sales is going to be the size of the vehicle, followed by the horsepower, followed by the attributes. That is basically it. Thanks for watching and good luck.